The program you are about to hear is a production of the River's Edge Radio Network. The River's Edge can be heard 24 hours a day with the best in local Pittsburgh music at riversedgepgh.com. The River's Edge, your voice for local music. Enjoy the show. My current guest has been rated the best comedian in Pittsburgh 2 years in a row, and he's on his way to LA. I'm assuming after a failed bid for the mayor of Pittsburgh. We have Mr. Matt Light.
Well, who says I can't run from LA?
Well, I was going to ask that, yeah. Did you have future political aspirations?
Yeah, of course. I mean, maybe I just have to do it in LA now, right? I mean, Schwarzenegger was governor of California. Why can't I be mayor?
Why not,
LA,
right? In California, anything's possible, right? They were kind of the pioneers of everything, really.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's out of the realm of possibilities. No.
Could happen.
It could happen. You got two events coming up. You have Comedians for Cancer, April 8th at Dave & Buster's, and the Curtain Call event, April 28th. That's your last event before you make the move to LA, and that's going to be at the Improv. That will be at 8 p.m. as well. So I have to ask, why the move to LA?
Why? Well, I mean, I think it's one of those things where if you want to pursue it as a career, and it depends on what you want to do, I feel like there's a glass ceiling in Pittsburgh, and I think I'm close to that ceiling to where I don't know if there's much more I can do here. I want to do some stuff on the road, but I also would like to get into maybe like a sketch comedy show, like a workaholics type environment, and I know that that's not going to happen here. You know, and I waited until I knew a few guys out there, a few headliners out there that'll be able to help me out. Because I wanted to go actually last year, but I didn't really have that many contacts. But after them coming into town and me working with them here, you know what I mean, I feel like I'll be more comfortable out there. And I mean, it's nothing against Pittsburgh. I love Pittsburgh, but I just, it's time to grow. And I'm 26 now, and, we'll do it for a few years. If it works out, I stay. If not, I can always come home.
That's true. And do you think, in your opinion, you've seen the business, you've been around for a few years, do you think Pittsburgh is growing as a comedy hub?
Oh, yeah.
In the area?
I mean, I don't think it's one of the top ones, but I definitely think, like, if you look, there's a lot of talent here. You have a Pittsburgh Comedy Festival now. You also have the Burning Bridges Comedy Festival coming up now. That's a lot of good things going on. We have monthly showcases almost every day. There's a few open mics there every day as well. So, I mean, it's definitely growing. And that's great because I think you go out there and your spot's not secure to get onto things because there's always that new guy that's doing well. And you're like, who the hell's this guy? Where'd he come from?
Yeah.
So, yeah, and I think for the most part, everyone gets along with each other, which is nice. Pittsburgh has a great comedy scene.
And what's your favorite experience here in Pittsburgh in the comedy realm? I mean, you've done so many different things from, obviously stand-up to radio and different things like that.
As far as what's my favorite thing to do?
What's maybe the most interesting moment?
The most interesting moment for me actually was DVE hosts the Hottest Mom competition.
Yes.
And last year I got to be one of the judges.
Nice.
And they had to do like these momsicle courses where like they had to open a bottle of wine. They had to get goldfish out of a car seat. And then they had to tuck you in at night.
Oh, okay. Nice.
And so I had this, it was crazy because she just got done. She had a kid maybe like 4 weeks ago. And you'd have no clue. Like, her body was flat. Like,
it's amazing the women that come to this thing.
Whoa. And the funniest part is, so she has to tuck me in, and you get, like, points based off of everything. Well, I told her that I can't sleep without milk. And then she proceeded to motorboat me. Woo. And she got my vote, and she won $5,000 that night. So,
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember I went to one of those events, actually, and there was this lady who was on stage, and she was a grandmother. And
the GILF contest.
Yeah, I think that was it. Yeah. Okay. So, but she was actually running for Hottest Mom, though. It wasn't a special version. It was the actual Hottest Mom. She won. The grandma. She was smoking. They brought her daughter up and it was just like her daughter was unbelievable.
Yeah.
And this lady, she had, I think she was hot, but I think her mind actually, because she knew what to say, and she knew like the buttons to press to turn people on, and it was just like crazy. But this woman, I mean, she was a young grandma, obviously, but yeah, it's an interesting event. Very cool.
It was a blast.
So, we talked a little bit in the beginning of the show, and being that you are a political figure and you're possibly going to be running for office in the future, but you're leaving Pennsylvania behind,
right?
And we're finally we just talked about this. They finally are passing. It looks like they're going to pass a medical marijuana bill. Is that something you supported in your run for mayor?
Well, I mean, I think that's definitely something very important. Not even as far as a political view, but a few people in Pittsburgh know that a few years ago I actually had cancer.
Yes.
I had Hodgkin's lymphoma, and my doctors aren't allowed to tell me to do anything illegal. But while I was going through chemo, I wasn't allowed to drink. But they told me, like, for the pain and everything like that marijuana would help. They're like, we can't tell you to do it because it's illegal, but we hear. So, I mean, I think that's great. The only thing that sucks now is that because it has passed, it's still going to take a few more years to go into effect. But we're definitely in the right direction. So I love that. I think it's great for the city.
Yeah, it started off in Pittsburgh. They actually decriminalized it, which I think was a step in the right direction.
Yeah, it's what is it, under a gram or under 2 grams or something? It's just a fine.
Like that. Yeah,
so that's great. I mean, they're doing a good job. Not as good as me, but.
So talk a little bit about the Comedians for Cancer event that's going to be April 8th at Dave & Buster's.
Well, my buddy Jim Porco that runs Bar Jitsu, he contacted me. He was a fan of my comedy, and he wanted to do a benefit that would be helpful when that was close to me. And he said, well, why don't we do a tournament, or a beer pong tournament as well as stand-up, because he knows I'm into beer pong. He just tried to do anything he could to get me to do it.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I'm totally on board. I try and do as many fundraisers as I can for cancer. Like, I've done different youth groups. I've done all kinds of things. So it's going to be an exciting event. We have some of the best comedians in the city coming out there. Mm-hmm. The roster's not finalized yet because we want to make sure that we can get the best possible options and not settle for just mediocrity. It's going to be at Dave & Buster's, which is awesome because there's a lot of cool events to do there as well. So, you go check out comedy.
It's like the adults' Chuck E. Cheese.
It is the adults. Yes. You know what? Chuck E. Cheese has become the adults' Chuck E. Cheese.
Really?
You see all those fights?
No.
There was a fight at the one in Ross Township. Then there was another one like a week before that. If you Google search Chuck E. Cheese fights, you will have an interesting 4 minutes on YouTube.
Where are people turning fun places into brawls? I mean, they had the fights at Kennywood. There's fights at Chuck E. Cheese. It seems like everywhere that's fun, that's supposed to be there for
for kids,
youthful kids. Yes, is turning into a bloodbath.
And it's never the kids, because if you ever gone to Chuck E. Cheese, if you think about it, I bet you'll never see a game with a gun.
Yeah,
there's no games. It's like zero violence.
True, yeah.
You know what I mean? But I lost trust in Chuck E. Cheese when they got rid of the ball pit.
Oh, yeah, that's
because they said, it's because of sanitary. I'm like, who cares?
Yeah, it's Chuck E. Cheese.
So much fun. You drown in those balls. That's fun. Swimming around, yeah.
Take some grease off the pizza first.
You're so worried about sanitary. I'm pretty sure Chucky hasn't washed his suit since 1986.
Yeah.
Oh,
gosh. Chuck E. Cheese. I haven't even been into one since I was a kid. I have no reason to go to Chuck E. Cheese.
I go there a few times for prospecting. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
But I know they have like a weird one at Westmoreland Mall where they have like a glass door attached to the mall, but you can't go in and out of it. It's just like a door for show.
So you can see like the kids playing and stuff?
Yeah, it's bizarre.
It's like window shopping for pedophiles.
Yeah, pretty much. It's awful.
Oh god.
Yeah, it's actually it's pretty creepy if you think about it.
Yeah, I'm pretty. That one looks like he can eat a little bit. Yeah, we can bring him. Oh god.
So Bar Jitsu, were they the ones who kind of spearheaded the event? They started the
they were the ones that went totally with it, and then Talent Network got involved, Frank and all those guys, and they're really cool people. They're good
friends of ours. Yeah,
mm-hmm. They're awesome. They're really supportive about the event. And it's bringing up awareness of testicular cancer, which I had a scare when I was going through mine, but I actually didn't have it. And I think it's gonna benefit somebody. I forget the group, but it's out in Colorado, which is amazing. So, anything to help families and bring awareness to the situation is great.
Yeah, talk a little bit about your battle with cancer, if you can. that must have been difficult to just deal with it with your career and everything else.
Well, here's how it happened. So I've been doing stand-up off and on. We'll say the first time I was ever on stage in 2008. But, I mean, I really didn't take it serious, right? So here's what happened. 2013 comes along, the beginning of the year. I'm not feeling well, right? So 4 months later, I noticed within 2 months, I lost 50 pounds.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was getting night sweats. I couldn't walk. I just was going through all this pain. And I didn't know what the hell to do. But the first thing I had to do is get health insurance to make sure I could get checked out. You know, my girlfriend at the time was, you need to go, or we're done. So I should have just did that because it turns out we didn't have a good relationship anyway. But no, she's cool. So no, I ended up getting the insurance, and then I figured it was like something with my stomach because that's where the pains were.
Yeah.
And then I was hosting an open mic that night after doing the scans. And they said, hey, are you alone? And I was like, no. They're like, okay, that's good. We think you have lymphoma. Now, I didn't know what the hell that was. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, that's cool. So, like, you'll just send me an antibiotic or I got to go to Giant Eagle to pick that up. And he's like, no, that's like, it's a cancer. It's a blood cancer. And, like, when you hear the word cancer, like, you immediately, especially, like, at the age, I think it was 23 at the time. And I just was like, dude, why now? You know what I mean? Like, not that anybody should ever get cancer.
Sure, yeah.
But at such a young age, and it's like, I didn't have bad lifestyle choices. Like, I'm not a smoker. Nobody in my family's really ever passed away from cancer. So it just was so crazy for me. But then I went through, 6 months of aggressive treatment, UPMC, and Dr. Marks was my oncologist, and he's like the greatest guy in the world. And I still am pretty close with him. And 6 months later, cleaned it out, and I've been cancer-free since February of last month.
Awesome.
Thank you.
That's right, we got the cowbell.
That's that cowbell.
No, that's fantastic. No, and you're right. It's shocking. I started the Relay for Life down at California University of Pennsylvania.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, our first year, we only had 4 cancer survivors that were in attendance. And we threw it together in a few months, and it turned out to be a great event. But 3 of those cancer survivors were under the age of 25.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, it's insane.
I did an event actually for Relay for Cancer. Is that what you call it? Relay for Cancer?
For Life?
Relay for Life, yeah. Relay. Yeah. Let's Relay for Relay for Life. Shit, that would be the wrong place to go to. No, we did. They did a cancer benefit for Stand Up for Cancer. They hosted it at Latitude 360.
Okay.
So I was there, and we were actually on national TV because we did the Terrible Towel Twirl.
Yeah, that's awesome.
This is pretty sweet. Yeah, so those guys are awesome.
Yeah, they're great to work with. I've been with I kind of stepped away now that my life is kind of consumed by this, but for a while, I started that event and ran it for a couple years. I did some stuff with the Norwin Relay for Life. That's where I got my start.
Okay.
And, it's definitely a great organization.
Yeah, they're awesome.
A lot of great things.
For sure.
So you've worked with a lot of fascinating people. I was reading the list of different comedians. Who's maybe the most interesting personality? I feel like Godfrey has got to be... interesting.
I'll tell you this, and I don't know if I should say it, but like obviously that's not his real voice.
Yeah.
But there's like 3 different Gilbert Godfrey voices. There's the voice on stage, and then there's like when you're in the green room with him, he's that but more calm.
Yeah.
Right? Because he doesn't want it. He's not that he's breaking character, but then you get the Gilbert Godfrey who, when he's on the phone talking to somebody else, his voice is actually very deep.
Oh.
And like it kind of ruined it for me because like. This isn't the asshole principal from Problem Child. But this guy seems well educated, But he was cool. He was very shy. I had fun with him. Yeah,
that's crazy. That's hard to believe, especially given how.
Oh yeah, he's very socially awkward.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not in a bad way. Just he really is. He's an older guy. He likes to do his thing. And I was actually surprised he was coming into Pittsburgh to do some time. And I was like, this is awesome. So. Luckily, I wound up working with him, and it was a great time.
Yeah, that reminds me of my friend Matt Henderson. He's a local theater. He's a playwright, and he also is an actor. And he acts in front of all these big audiences in Pittsburgh and everything else. He's been acting since I knew him. I went to high school with him. I wanted him to come on the radio. He was scared to death to phone in and do a phone interview over the radio. I had to literally twist his arm for weeks in order to get him to do a simple phone interview, and he's scared to death, but on stage.
Well, yeah, because it's almost part of your repetition. You know what I mean? It's almost like brushing your teeth or showering, where when you do radio and you're kind of caught off guard, like I'll do radio and like I get so intimidated.
Really?
Because the issue is, and my buddy Jeff Conkle kind of put it in my head. He's like, if you look on 376 where we're recording, you look out the window, you can see all the traffic, and you automatically assume they're all listening to every word you have to say, and you're like, damn it! Like at least with a podcast, if I say something stupid, you can cut it out.
Sure, yeah.
Or if I do something on stage and it's not good, I don't have to do that again. But I have one chance, like make an impression in front of these guys that are listening to me, and I get nervous doing that more than anything too, though. Believe it or not, yeah.
No, yeah, and that's the nice thing about this studio in particular is there's no windows. We're on North Avenue in Millville, so you got a few cars driving by, and
there's 5 listeners. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
30, but
no, man, I've heard good things about this. So like when you asked me to do it, I was excited for sure.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's definitely it's moving in the right direction, and what's cool about it is I always like to promote this. We're the only 24-hour radio network that only plays local music.
Oh, really?
Which is pretty sweet.
Pittsburgh, at least. I will say, when I saw the name, the River's Edge, I thought you were affiliated with the casino.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
and I was like, oh, man, I have a gambling problem. I don't know if I can do this.
Gambler, yeah.
Big gambler.
So, no, yeah. I want to just talk a little bit to wrap it up here with about your final curtain call show. Do you have anything special, like big planned for the event, or
I got all kinds of cool things.
Anything you can leak?
I can tell you that there's gonna be all of my friends that I've been doing stand up with, throughout Pittsburgh. That's made a big impact on my life. They'll all be a part of the show. We're also doing a terrible towel thing. So if you're coming out to the show, bring a terrible towel.
Nice.
It's gonna be very Pittsburgh. A lot of Pittsburgh stuff. And if you're a fan of professional wrestling, you'll like a few things that I'm doing.
Okay. Do you know Michael Sorg by chance?
What's his wrestling name?
He's not a wrestler. Are you familiar with Sorgatron Media?
No.
Okay, so he's one of our friends, and we're he's actually one of his shows, Awesome Cast, which is a technology show broadcasts on our network. But he does all of the video work for 2 local wrestling organizations.
Which ones? Do you know?
The Renegade Wrestling Alliance, RWA, and I believe the other one begins with an I.
Okay, IWC maybe?
Yeah, IWC.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so he does both of the video work for both of those. And he does a phenomenal job. And then he does a few wrestling podcasts.
Oh, cool, man.
Through Sorgatron Media.
Yeah, I got to play a manager for Vicious Outcast Wrestling, so the guys seeing me do stand-up, he's like, you seem like you'd be a really good asshole with a microphone. I was like, yeah, I'll do that. So, yeah, it was fun, man.
RWA, they do an event called Salute to the Troops.
Okay.
And it's down at California University of Pennsylvania. Well, it's like their biggest event of the year. And Salute to the Troops 2, the ringside announcer wasn't able to attend the event, so they needed somebody to replace him. And I did a lot of radio work with RWA when I was at CalU, just especially whenever they would come through for Salute to the Troops. So Dr. Feelbad, who runs that organization, he said, hey, Brian, why don't you be the ringside announcer? I said, sure, that would be great. I thought, great opportunity, be able to try something new.
Yeah.
So I get the list of all of the wrestlers, what order they came out in, everything, and I make all of these little cue cards up so I can go on stage and have them ready. Well, the first thing that happens is I go on stage and the extra microphone falls out of my pocket, bounces off the stage, and it rolls onto the ground.
Oh, God.
So then I'm up there, and throughout the event, I'm calling up wrestlers out of order, the wrong wrestlers. The information they gave me was wrong. It was like a circus act on stage. It was hilarious though in hindsight.
I had an experience like that at the Syracuse Funny Bone. The guy came up to me and says, "What do you want me to bring you out to?" And I said, "I don't know. Just tell him I do like clubs and colleges." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he was like, "We got this next comedian coming on stage. Very funny guy. One of my favorite comedians. He does clubs and colleges everywhere. He drops his cue card, right? He can't find it. He's checking his pockets or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm one of his favorites, but he doesn't know my damn name." So this dude just is on stage, and people are like cliffhanger, like waiting for him to say it. And he looks at me, and I'm like mouthing Matt Light, and he said like Mike Wright. And I just was like, oh, yeah, keep it going for the worst introduction ever. This guy's my favorite comedian, but I don't know who the hell he is. And but it was fun.
The one lady wrestler, Jessie Bell, she comes out. She's like telling me off on stage because I like got the wrong name. She's like pissed, and she's one of the heels.
Yeah.
So luckily she came out and she kind of saved that moment.
Yeah.
But Dr. Feelbad, he keeps like, you gotta have more energy. Gotta have more energy. I'm thinking like, I'm just trying to make sure I get the right person in order, for goodness sakes.
I'm just trying to read these at this point.
Yeah,
Let me go.
just like, I'm so anxious to just like try and get to the right wrestler. And it was an interesting experience. At the time I was so humiliated that I ran out a back door because I went to school, so I knew where all the exits are. Yeah, and I kind of avoided everybody at the end of the event. Like, I stuck it through the whole event, despite,
That's awesome.
the shit show. But, but I snuck out the back.
When I was heel, I had to have people walk me out because the fans wanted to beat the shit out of me in Connors, so they hated me. I loved it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Fantastic. Yeah. All right, looking forward to it. So, LA coming up, and then you have the 2 events. You've got the Comedians Against Cancer.
April 8th.
Yep, that's April 8th. And then the Curtain show.
April 28th.
April 28th. Yep. Both at 8
Come
p.m.
on out. Yep, you can get your tickets. Show clicks, I think, for the first one, and the second one you go to improv.com.
All right, perfect. Sounds good. That's Matt Light. I'm Brian Crawford here on the River's Edge Radio Network.